Well, a very good evening and thank you for joining us on India Business Hour. I'm Ashmit Kumar and here are the headlines that we're tracking at this hour. Sensex hits a record high after a last hour rally. Nifty is now just 120 points away from its peak. Stocks rally across the world after the minutes of the last US Federal Reserve meeting shows majority favors slowing the pace of monetary tightening. The European Union proposes a price cap on natural gas prices to stave off an energy crisis. Nations like Netherlands and Germany express skepticism about the benefits of the measures. The EU maintains that the proposal is balanced and will help the bloc avoid excessively high prices. The promoter of Bisleri, Ramesh Chauhan, says he's in talks with Tatas and others for a majority stake sale. Tata Consumer had earlier told CNBC-TV18 it is open to inorganic opportunities in the water business. The struggles at the edtech sector claims another casualty. Amazon shuts down the Amazon Academy, which went live only last year. Amazon had previously announced it will lay off 10,000 employees this year. Former SEBI Chairman M. Damodaran hints at potential changes to the law to help attract more private equity and venture capital investment. Also says the committee he's heading is on track to submit the report by the 9th of December. Exporters seek tax stops and fiscal support from the government ahead of the budget, propose a development fund, tax breaks to market products overseas, and a restoration of the interest equalization levy, among others. Rural Development Ministry seeks an additional 25,000 crore rupees for the Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. Government likely to approve 16,000 crore rupees for FY23. The total budget outlay for the scheme this year is 73,000 crore rupees. Supreme Court questions the lightning speed at which Arun Goyal was appointed as the new election commissioner. Asks the government why the tearing hurry to clear the file within 24 hours. Attorney General defends the appointment, says it was done on the basis of a database maintained by the Department of Personnel and Training. The measles outbreak intensifies across large parts of India. The death toll in Maharashtra rises to 13. Union government rushes special teams to 3 states. World Health Organization warns that 40 million children are vulnerable as they miss their measles vaccine due to the pandemic. Hospital services disrupted at the All India Institute for Medical Sciences in Delhi for the second day in a row. The hospital confirms a cybersecurity incident and government agencies are probing the matter and services are yet to be restored. And we check into Surat, the city of diamonds, to find out the pulse of the voter ahead of the assembly elections in Gujarat. Well, let's start with what was a record-breaking day on the Lal Street. Sensex hit a record high in trading, gaining over 700 points, largely thanks to a late rally. Now, the Nifty gained over 200 points and is now just 120 points away from its peak. The last time the Sensex hit a record high was in October last year. Nifty Bank also hit a lifetime high, closing above the 43,000 mark for the first time. Prashant Nair is here with a quick wrap of the day's market action.
Well, the Sensex at new record highs and looking absolutely fantastic, isn't it? The last high was made on the 19th of October 2021, and after a year, we are basically back at those levels once again. So that is the Sensex for you. And by the way, if you look at most markets, most big global markets, if you can move on, India is right on top. I just quickly put this together. This is YTD returns, all in dollar terms. Of course, in rupee terms, the Indian market is in positive, but dollar terms, it is down 2.65%. But this so beautifully shows that this year has been about relative outperformance, right? Absolute as well, but more relative. So look at the S&P 500, which is down 15.5. DAX is down 16. Hang Seng is down 25. Actually, I only found one market which is actually better performing than the Sensex. That is the Brazilian Bovespa. The Brazilian Bovespa is up 8% in dollar terms. But 2 points there. It's largely made up of resource companies, right? Metals, mining, etc., which has had a very good year. And the second is it's a much smaller market. I mean, the Brazilian market is $700 billion in size, whereas the market here is $3 trillion. So we're talking about a much larger market. Anyway, so this is global outperformance in that sense. Let's move on and tell you a little bit of the kind of sobering fact as well. And I think this is important, right? Many have said that the market is at an all-time high, but portfolios are hurting. Portfolios are not back at all-time highs. And I think there is good reason, and this is the data which shows you that. So even as the Sensex is at a record high, only 13 Sensex stocks are above their October 2021 peak. So, this is the same level when the Sensex last was at the high, and only 13 individual Sensex stocks are above the previous high, which means 17 of them are below their October 2021 high. That is what, 58% of the Sensex constituents, which is below its October 2021 levels. Let me just tell you which are the sort of performers and which are the underperformers. And these are the best performers, really. ITC, back when the last time Sensex was at a high, ITC was 138 rupees. It's at 341. Mahindra & Mahindra, 917 back then, 1253 now. SBI, almost under 500, 600 plus now. ICICI Bank and Bharti are some of the other names. On the flip side, you find a lot of technology names. So Tech Mahindra, the October 2021 level was 1540. The level now is 1068. Tata Steel is another one, adjusted, of course, 137, 106. Bajaj Finserv, you can see the difference. Infosys, below the levels of October 21. Mind you, not all of these made absolute peaks in October 21, but because we had to compare with a consistent period and keep the comparison consistent, we've taken the October 21 levels. Infosys, and then, of course, there is Bharti as well, 681 and 840, sort of 7. Those are levels. Anyway, let's just quickly tell you the Nifty now, and I'm going to leave with that because the Nifty is now just 0.5%, not even 0.5% away from its respective all-time high, which was 18,604. And I think that is, we don't have to wait very long with most other indices there, at least the frontline benchmark indices. It's a matter of time, maybe tomorrow, maybe in the next couple of days or so.
Right, Prashant, thanks a lot for that. Here's some international news now. The European Union has proposed a price cap on natural gas prices to stave off an impending energy crisis. Nations like Netherlands and Germany have expressed skepticism about the benefits of the measures. The EU, however, maintains that the proposal is balanced and will help the bloc avoid excessively high prices. Well, back home, the big corporate story, Tata Consumer Products is currently in talks to acquire bottled water major Bisleri. The promoter of Bisleri, Ramesh Chauhan, told CNBC-TV18 that he's in talks with Tatas and others for a stake sale. Tata Consumers had earlier told us that it is open to inorganic opportunities in the water business.
At what stage of discussions are you right now with the Tatas?
Well, you seem to be knowing more than I know, but we are in discussion.
Because you like the culture of the Tatas and you're in talks with them, does that mean that if a deal has to happen, it will be with the Tatas only? Or are there other players in the fray too?
That I cannot say. Others are there, but it's not discussion yet.
Well, the Union government has mandated for the Competition Commission of India to examine if input tax credits availed by companies is being passed on or not. The regulatory body will determine if the tax credit has resulted in reduction in the price of goods and services. CCI is all set to take over the issues of the National Anti-Profiteering Authority and has subsumed the NAA into it. Meanwhile, Amazon India is shutting down its online learning vertical in India. A statement from the retail giant says that they are going to discontinue Amazon Academy from August of 2023 in a phased manner. Amazon Academy will refund full fees to those enrolled in the current academic batch. Amazon had previously announced it will lay off 10,000 employees this year. Now, former SEBI chairman M. Damodaran has hinted at potential changes to the law to help attract more private equity and venture capital investment into India. Damodaran is heading a committee that will make recommendations to the government on shoring up investments to startups. Speaking to my colleague Parikshit Luthra, Damodaran said that his committee's report will be ready by the 9th of December.
I think certainly you got to look at all the existing regulations and laws and see whether there are any among them that are past their sell-by date, have lost relevance, because you write laws and regulations in a context. Has the context changed? And of course, at the back of all of this, we got to keep in mind the fact that India needs to see a lot of investment coming from outside of India. So how are you going to make it a little easier? That's exactly what we are addressing.
Right. What do you think the budget can do to give a further impetus to startups in the country, make sure we get more private equity, venture capital investments?
I think if there are any decisions that are going to be taken, whether based on our report or otherwise, that can signal to the potential investors that this is an easier place to invest, then you will see more investment coming in. But what are the one or two things? Well, I think the committee will come out with some in the report.
The centre is planning to increase its budget for Manrega, its flagship rural employment scheme, in the ongoing fiscal year. The total budget outlay for the scheme this year is 73,000 crore rupees.
We expect that this year also the budget that was provided to us will be raised. What will be the quantum will be decided by the Finance Ministry, but this budget will be raised, and next year also I guess there would be significant sums provided towards that.
Well, consultations ahead of the February 1st union budget are on in full swing. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman met with stakeholders from the trade and services sector. Ministers of State for Finance Pankaj Chaudhary and Bhagwat Karad, along with the top finance ministry bureaucrats, attended the meeting. Well, Federation of Indian Export Organisation has sent their list of recommendations to the Finance Ministry ahead of the budget. Abhimanyu Sharma now joins us. Abhimanyu, take us through the wish list of the industry ahead of the budget.
The Federation of Indian Exporters Organisation held a pre-budget meeting with the Union Finance Minister today and requested for several pro-exporter steps from the upcoming union budget. Among the numerous demands is an export development fund with a corpus of a minimum 0.5% of the preceding year's exports, fiscal support to units which provide additional employment in the export sector, and restoration of interest equalization benefit of 5% to manufacturer MSMEs and 3% to 410 tariff lines which existed prior to October 2021, stating that the cost of credit crossing the pre-COVID levels was adversely impacting exporters. The organization has sought tax and fiscal incentives to the private sector to help set up global Indian shipping lines to exploit the ready market available. The exporters body has also asked for 200% tax deduction on the expense incurred by exporters on overseas marketing to help showcase Indian products overseas, as well as GST refund to foreign tourists at airports to help exports of handicrafts, non-precious jewellery, textiles, khadi, leather and Ayush products. It remains to be seen till what extent the demands will be agreed upon by the Union Finance Ministry.
Thanks, Abhimanyu, for that update. Now, we're halfway through the traditional festive season, and indications so far are that it's proving to be a good one for the Indian real estate space. Sales are up, as are prices in most markets. CNBC-TV18's Jusilia K and Ritu Singh report that despite new launches and unsold inventory, demand has been robust, and India is on track for a record year.
RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das and his team at the MPC have pushed up interest rates in their battle against inflation, making home loans more expensive in the bargain. But this has not seemed to have had much of an impact on the real estate market, especially as this year's festive season kicked off in September. Demand has been such that even higher prices do not seem to have been much of a deterrent in most pockets. The Housing Price Tracker Report 2022 says that the overall housing market in India has seen prices rise by 6% on average over the third quarter of 2022 compared to a year ago. While Delhi, NCR and Kolkata have seen the highest rise in prices over the last year, Tier 2 cities like Ahmedabad, Hyderabad and Pune are giving these markets a run for their money. Interestingly, Chennai and Mumbai metropolitan region have seen prices remain largely stagnant over the 12-month period. But it's the Tier 2 cities of Pune and Ahmedabad that have led the way in price hikes compared to the previous quarter. In sharp contrast, the metro markets of Chennai and MMR have actually seen prices dip a little. new launches have been picking up steam over the last few quarters in anticipation of a revival in the sector, and builders and developers say that demand has been robust enough to ensure these launches don't add significantly to the unsold inventory. Even here, the MMR and Delhi NCR have the highest proportion of unsold inventories, while inventories in Chennai, Kolkata and Bengaluru make up a relatively smaller portion of the pie. Home buying patterns, however, are more widely distributed. Almost every key market has a high share of unsold mid-category homes, with only Delhi NCR having a higher proportion of unsold inventory in the affordable housing segment. MMR and Hyderabad have the highest unsold inventory in the high-end segment, while MMR and Delhi NCR lead in unsold inventory in the luxury segment. The Housing Price Tracker report says that unsold inventory in MMR has risen for the 5th quarter in a row. The expectation of a good festive season with an uptick in demand and sales despite rising prices and costlier home loans is showing in real estate share prices. The real estate index has outperformed the Nifty in the last 1 month, with most real estate stocks, especially those with a pan-India presence, rising sharply. As things stand, real estate companies are optimistic that the sector is on track for a big bang festive season in 2022 and could close out the year with record sales. In Mumbai, Jasilia Karayam Parambil and Ritu Singh.
Well, with that, it's time now for a short break. But on the other side, as we come closer to the assembly elections in Gujarat, we tell you how the diamond merchants of Surat are significant not just as a vote bank, but more. A special report when we come back. Welcome back. Now, the Supreme Court has questioned the lightning speed at which Arun Goyal was appointed as the new election commissioner. A constitution bench of the apex court asked the government today if there was any tearing hurry to clear the file within 24 hours, especially since the post had been lying vacant for over 6 months. The court, which has been hearing pleas seeking a collegium to appoint election commission members, also expressed its concerns on the current appointment process. We spoke to former Chief Election Commissioner T.S. Krishnamurthy on the issue. He backed calls for a collegium to appoint EC commissioners.
That will improve the credibility of the institution. In fact, I, as the Chief Election Commissioner, had recommended in writing to the government to bring about this change. And there had other suggestions by our commission and so on. So it is for the government. As early as 2004, we had suggested this change in the procedure. You know, when once you have too many members in the collegium process, you have different voices. It may be difficult to achieve consensus. The leader of the opposition is a respectable member of parliament, and certainly one member to represent the opposition parties should be good enough. In my opinion, it will be easy to implement.
Now, the measles outbreak is intensifying across large parts of the country. Mumbai has reported over 252 cases and 13 deaths have been reported across Maharashtra. The rise in cases is not limited to Mumbai, with cities like Ranchi, Ahmedabad and Malappuram also seeing a spike. The union government has sent a team of experts to these locations. Since the beginning of the COVID pandemic, nearly 40 million children missed the measles vaccine dose in 2021, according to the World Health Organization. This has dealt a body blow to India's hopes of eradicating measles by 2023. Meanwhile, hospital services were disrupted at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences in Delhi for the second day in a row. The hospital confirms a cybersecurity incident, and government agencies are probing the matter, and services are yet to be restored. Foxconn has apologized for a technical error during onboarding process after massive protests at its COVID-hit iPhone factory over pay dispute. The company says actual pay would be the same as agreed. Pakistan Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif has picked Lieutenant General Asim Munir as the new army chief. He will replace General Bajwa, who will be retiring at the end of the month after 6 years at the helm. Well, Gujarat's city of Surat is famous for its diamonds, and the diamond merchants who call the city home have been important, politically speaking, not only because of the vote bank that they represent, but because they are a significant source of political funding. As a part of our ongoing series Election Exchange, CNBC-TV18 Santya Gora dropped into the city to get a sense of how the political winds are blowing.
Rashmikant came to Surat in 2001 and set up shop as a diamond merchant and jeweler in Surat's Waracha area. He's today a well-known name in these parts. But like every other business in the region, his business took a big hit from the COVID-19 lockdowns that spanned over 2 years, and the recovery has been slow.
जब ये कोरोना आया तभी सब कारीगर लोग जो थे जो वो सब उसके गांव में चले गए। इनके बाद जब ये आने के बाद शुरू हुआ तब तक ये यूक्रेन और रशिया का ये जो वॉर हुआ उसके हिसाब से थोड़ा डीम हुआ।
Rashmikant is one of thousands of diamond merchants who call Surat home and part of an important community, not just where the 12 assembly seats of urban Surat are concerned, but for the region's economy. The city's diamond industry has an annual turnover of $21 to $24 billion and accounts for 9 of 10 diamonds polished worldwide. The 6,000 diamond polishing units in the city employ over 1 million people. These 12 assembly constituencies have been traditional strongholds of the BJP, which has ruled the state for 27 years, and diamond merchants we spoke to say the state administration has helped in the recovery process, as have many of the schemes launched by the centre.
2003 में आए तो रत्न कलाकार को लेके बहुत सारे इश्यूज थे, वो क्लियर हुआ। फिर एक डायमंड गवर्नमेंट ने हमें जगह दी जिसमें हमने पूरा डायमंड ज्वेलरी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के लिए एक बुर्स बनाया, डायमंड गुजरात हीरा बुर्स।
डायमंड का बिजनेस बहुत एक्सपेंसिव है, तो क्या है कि बीजेपी गवर्नमेंट ने हमें सेफ्टी दी है, सिक्योरिटी दी है, तो उसी हिसाब से हम ये प्रिपेयर करेंगे। बिजनेस में उतार चढ़ाव की कोई इसमें मायने नहीं रखता है, तो उसी के हिसाब से हम तो बीजेपी के साथ चलते हैं।
The Aam Aadmi Party is a new entrant in the state's political arena and is trying to make inroads with promises of better education, free electricity and water. In 2017, the Congress campaigned hard to win the votes of Surat's diamond merchant community, and one of its stands was to highlight the problems faced by these merchants with the introduction of GST. The campaigning did not have the desired result. And this time, the Aam Aadmi Party is also trying to win over the same diamond merchant community of Surat. But the experts say that going by historical trends, the community has largely voted BJP. And my interactions with some of the merchants in the city also indicate that this may not have changed much. Experts also say that any losses which the community may have had to bear because of global geopolitical events like Russia's invasion of Ukraine may not work to shift the votes away from the BJP. In Surat, with camera person Milind Wagmare, this is Santya for CNBC-TV18.
Well, CNBC-TV18 is all set to lead the charge with one-of-a-kind mega initiative, Future Female Forward, the Women's Collective, presented by HSBC. Now, before the official launch, we were joined by some young future leaders who shared their vision with our managing editor, Shireen Bhan. Their dreams and superpowers transcend age boundaries, from loving the Hulk to saving the planet to wanting the stock markets to open late so that their father can drop them to their school bus. This heartwarming conversation is a must-watch.
Today we have a great lineup of very influential voices. These are people who are going to shape the world. They are going to change our tomorrow. These are leaders, ladies and gentlemen. And it is now time for us to introduce you to these very powerful, influential leaders. The CEO of this panel. Madam, can I have you introduce yourself, please?
My name is Nandita Nair. I studied the Bombay International School in 7th grade. I enjoy the arts, all of the sciences and math.
And if there's one thing that you would like to do as the current CEO of this panel to change the world, to shape the world, what would that be?
I'd like people to understand the consequences of their actions and take responsibility for them. The people blame other people, but we are the people. So we're blaming ourselves and then telling ourselves that we are not to blame.
So the one change that you would like to drive?
That I would like to drive is if I was being big, I will say...
Oh, I'm not letting you. I'm so sorry. We will let you take a picture also, Kabir. In 30 seconds, we will let you take a picture.
I think a big change is the same as my wish, but yeah, a change I would make is, if I had a power to make that change, is to reduce the effect that carbon dioxide has on the atmosphere. And if it was a smaller change, like it couldn't have such drastic effect, the markets would open later. I want my dad to spend time with me, like a lot more.
Well, we'll try. I think it would be easier to actually do something about the carbon dioxide than make the markets change their timing. But thank you so much.
Well, the initiative will be officially launched through an exclusive on-ground event tomorrow, November 25th, with several women leaders of India, Inc. Also in attendance will be some of the most influential voices from business, entrepreneurship and entertainment spaces. Don't forget to tune in to CNBC-TV18 on Friday, November 25th, 5:30 p.m.